Hey, these are my top 10 expansions coming out at Essen 2015. Hey, I'm Chris. Thanks for tuning in to my top 10 expansions list. A couple things before we get started very quickly. There won't be any new Board with Life news for probably the next 2 weeks. I'm getting married in a week, so I'm going to take some time off for that because I finally tricked someone into committing their life to me because they're stupid. This is my top 10 list of expansions coming out at Essen 2015. Obviously, this list is highly tied to games I enjoy, so I'm not saying that these are necessarily the best. These are just the ones that I'm most excited about. There might be great expansions coming out for games I didn't like very much, therefore I'm not very excited about them, things of that nature. So, and also there are a ton of expansions coming out. I had a list of about 30 that I cut down to this 10, so there are a lot that I'm excited about. You should certainly post in the comments or tweet at me what your picks would be, because I'm very interested to hear about it. If you're looking for my top 10 games coming out at Essen 2015, I did that video last week, and I will link you somewhere on this thing. You can click it and see that. Okay, all of that out of the way, let's get right into it. My number 10 expansion is for Kemet. It is called Ta Seti. Kemet is a really good area control game, came out a couple years ago. It's very tense, lots of strategy moving parts, and you can summon like a giant beetle to ride on, so that's super cool. This new expansion is going to have 4 new modules, and they are a new pyramid color with corresponding power tiles, new game phase, the Path of the Souls, which I don't know what that is, and new DI cards. So pretty excited about that one. My number 9 expansion is for Dungeon Fighter, and this is Rock and Roll. This is the 4th in the series of the Elemental expansions that have come out. This one's Earth for rocks, the other were Fire, Water, and Air. It's going to have new monsters and equipment, a new hero, and 2 new bosses. Dungeon Fighter is a really silly dungeon crawling game where the main kind of mechanic is this dexterity mechanic where you're rolling a die onto a target to see if you succeed, and you'll get equipment like a helmet that means that you have to roll with your eyes closed, or there'll be monsters that make you roll from under the table. All sorts of just zany, fun kind of party game dungeon crawling stuff. I like it a lot. Number 8 is Cash and Guns, More Cash and More Guns. Cash and Guns is a really good party game where you have these little foam guns that you point at each other because you're all bandits and you're trying to split up loot afterwards and you're all shooting each other, and it's just zany, bluffing fun. This expansion is going to come with new pistols, new loot cards, and new special powers. Number 7 is for Flick 'em Up, and it is Stallion Canyon. Flick 'em Up is it's insane the level of production that Pretzel Games put into this game. It's just beautifully made, beautiful wooden box, awesome design, and it is basically a flicking dexterity game set in the Wild West where you're shooting each other with bullets. This new expansion comes with horses for your little guys to go on that they can get knocked out of, and ramps, which is awesome. So you can send a bullet up a ramp, like you do in real life, and knock a guy off a horse. Pretty excited about it. Number 6 is Concordia Salsa. Concordia is a really, really good game. Kind of hard to find, really bad cover art. But it, along with Lewis and Clark in 2013, kind of were some of the best implementations of the using a card and then out of your hand and you've used it, but then you can't use it again until you get all your cards back. So you really have to maximize how you use your cards, and it's sort of this deck building thing amongst a board game. I like it a lot. Really good game. This expansion is going to come with new maps, a new commodity, salt, very exciting, and new cards. My number 5 expansion is Orleans Invasion. Orleans is the very popular bag building game that came out at Essen last year. I haven't got my copy yet. I backed it on Kickstarter. I'm super excited about getting the American version. But this expansion is going to come with new buildings, new event cards, and new scenarios. And these are pretty interesting because it's a totally new way to play the game. One of the scenarios is a cooperative scenario, which is interesting because Orleans is not a cooperative game. And there's a 2-player duel scenario, stuff like that. I really like game designers kind of going back in and exploring what can be done with the game they've made. So that's pretty cool. My number 4 expansion is for Zombie 15. It's called Left Alone. Keeping on the trend of designers going back in and seeing what you can do with a game, this is our 15 single-player scenarios for Zombie 15. All the scenarios link together into a sort of story, and they get harder as they progress, and they tell the stories of all the characters. I assume, I'm just guessing, but I think this is going to be the individual stories of all the characters, what was happening to them before they all came together. I love introducing this sort of narrative into a board game. I love making a really solid solo campaign in a board game. I just love the whole idea behind this, so I'm pretty excited for that one. Number 3 is Takenoko Chibis. Takenoko is one of my favorite gateway games to introduce new gamers. It's one of my favorite light games to play with light gamers. So I'm obviously excited about the expansion coming out. This expansion comes with new land tiles that have different abilities. It comes with a female panda that moves differently than the regular panda, or has a different effect than the regular panda, and helps make panda babies with the regular panda, and new cards. Seems like it's adding not a lot of complexity to the game, but just some new things to do, which is great. My number 2 expansion is Castles of Mad King Ludwig and its Secrets. This Castle of Mad King Ludwig I absolutely loved. You're building a crazy castle a la Ludwig with all these different room tiles and stuff like that, and the way you feel like you're actually building a castle and it builds out is really lovely. There's a lot of subtle humor in the game and kind of like what rooms you put next to each other, things like that. This expansion is going to come with tons of new rooms that have new special bonuses, things like secret passages, all sorts of stuff like that. Anything that just gives me more of Castle of Mad King Ludwig, I'm happy about, so that's why that's my number 2. And my number 1 expansion coming out of Essen 2015 is Roll for the Galaxy Ambition. I absolutely love Roll for the Galaxy. I love Race for the Galaxy. Roll for the Galaxy somehow made it better and different, and dice, and it's just so good. Really good strategy with the dice. Very, very good luck mitigation built into that game with the dice. The expansion is going to come with new factions, new dice, new tiles, and optional objectives. Race for the Galaxy did an incredibly good job with their expansions, so I expect nothing less from Roll for the Galaxy. Very pumped about this one. All right, that's the list. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can get the geek list down below if you want to check out more information on any of these. Make sure that you let me know which games you're excited about, which expansions you're excited about. Tons and tons of great expansions coming out of Essen this year. I am off for 2 weeks, but I will see you right after Essen with all the news that comes out of that. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe on YouTube. That helps us out a bunch. Check out our podcasts while you're at it. They're also while you're at it, not while you edit. Well, they're actually good things to listen to while you edit too, so do that. But their links are down below. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you later.